to stream if they weren't invited to your Zoom meeting. That's important.
Or unlisted, where they just have the
What?
link. Or you could go unlisted, where as long as
Yeah,
you have
no,
the
but
link.
I'm just saying if they wanted to, no, we're talking about for business, like they were
Yeah.
saying that, Daniel,
Well, a lot
that,
of times they'll do that because no one's going to be able to find the link unless you send it out.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you can do a number of different ways that you can do, but I make them. Now, what I do want, and we have some other, Graham and Tessa and Sia for, and Noah, for cameras. If you can send notes here to have everybody with their camera, and Haley could. And if the only people that are not, there were a couple of people that made requests that they're not feeling well. Okay, folks, welcome back. I'm recording into the cloud and YouTube, and I also have my MSN recorder that is recording to locally. Okay, we have a lot to cover today. Also, exams, we'll cover that at the end. I'll go over at the end your exams. But before we even go over the exams, let's talk about it. It was a little bit confusing to a number of people. It was like half and half. The term least privilege. Okay, and see ya. Fine. Least privilege. So if I were going to ask you, Haley, least privilege, what does that mean? Besides, that was an
I feel
example.
like that's the not the bare minimum, but like the amount of knowledge that you should have access to. Like the example I used was like a teacher should have access to their students' grades and assignments, but not their finances.
Okay. All right. So least privilege means what? What's the purpose of that? Because it's really an important concept. I remember you writing that, Haley. No, that's correct. But what what does it mean, and what's the purpose of that?
It's like protect people's information that not everyone necessarily needs to know. So it's like the
Okay, but
minimum
what?
amount.
So let's think about it. Anytime I'm in information systems that deals with data, the data is exposed, right, Haley? The data is available, right? And the whole idea of data governance is for the entire organization, people in the organization need to supervise the data, be able to decide what data is going to be exposed, what data are we going to collect, what data are we going to update, what data are we going to delete. All the rules and regulations of data, and the word is governance, almost like supervise, has to be established. There almost has to be also established of who excuse me, of who owns the data. And they use that a lot in information systems and in organization, meaning there's certain people like the registrar owns, so-called owns all your data that is being submitted to the registrar. At the end of the semester, I get a final due date where I have to submit on CaneLink your grades. Sounds right. They tell me, Dr. Rushanik, at the end of this date, your grades need to be put in. And I always overthink the grades. And I usually submit at the last day because I'm doing a number of revisions. The registrar is kind of like the data owner. And anybody that gets into the system, they're going to get a role. And what we want is that term least privilege means that I want to give each user what you said, the minimum or the least amount of what access that will help, that will accomplish their task, that will accomplish their job. Some students were writing to me that students were least privileged and I had more privilege as an instructor. Is that a true statement, Haley?
I mean, you have the amount of,
But do
I
I
guess,
have,
like
when
you
you
have the
say
amount
your
of
student role here in this class, your student role, I'm professor role, right? Do I have least privilege? True or
yeah, you don't,
yes.
yeah.
No matter what role I have, right, Haley? No matter what role, though the word means a lot of students wrote, they're like on the bottom of the totem pole. They have least privilege. I have more privilege. And sometimes they're getting confused. I have a different role, right? Just like you have in the audit area, I have a different role, but we all get permissions, and they give me permissions almost like limited. I shouldn't, like the idea, think about the audit area. You know the audit area well, Haley. The university Blackboard folks own the data to establish courses in Blackboard based on K-Link's courses. I have a course I teach online, BTE, whatever. I get that section J. Now, I don't have the privilege to create another course that wasn't established by the university. Somebody can come to me and say, Dr. Russian, do you want to teach this new AI course? If I say, yes, I want to teach it, then they put me into the schedule, they need approval, and I have it. I am different than other professors that I say, I want a section for my students that their role is teaching assistants. Create for me, take all my students from my approved course and make a copy of that and call it in the beginning audit. So you can distinguish between the regular class versus the audit. So it shows in your record, when you open up Blackboard, it shows you that you're a teaching assistant, right? You're teaching this course, right? You can brag to your parents, you know, I do so well that the instructor, after 2 weeks, she saw I was brilliant. She promoted me to be, you know, teaching this course. I could not do that on my own because they say Russian Egg Howland shouldn't be creating her own courses because she works for the university. On my own, right? If it were my consulting company or something like that, I can create as many courses as I want, right? But I am not the owner of that Blackboard. So I just wanted to make clear, you have it correct, Haley, but some students talk about that privilege is almost like privilege of confusing that with authorization. That's all. But but you can see why they do it is I don't want, and think about it, is the president of the university, does he have full, are they giving him everything, full privileges, you think?
No.
No, he has least privilege. He shouldn't be able to change his salary either. But maybe he should be able to see my salary because he's the president of the university. I am not, if I were the chairperson of my department, I should be able to see all my faculty's salaries because I'm the one to give them merit raises or something. But if I'm not the administrator of my department, I shouldn't, unless someone tells me their salary, I have no business knowing their salary. Now, if we were a public university, Haley, public universities have what they call some open data that university salaries are published. And if we're a private university, so that's not even published. So a lot of times when when there's an uproar or something in the university, it was at one time, there was a demonstration for janitorial services when we had President Shalala here. And the janitors, they were trying to unionize, and maybe they made $10, maybe they made $7 an hour or $8 an hour, something very low, being janitorial service. And the Miami Herald or someone wrote an article and says, why isn't Shayla more empathetic to these workers? And her salary, we couldn't find her salary, but they did some investigation based on some other things that they guessed what was her salary, and her boards and things like that. So those are kind of areas that you have to think about. Information systems is we want to give the least amount. People in IT, I don't want to give them full areas, right? Sometimes I have to, right? The head of security, remember he was here? The head of security, he has to be restricted. He can't change his salary or some other things, that we want to do. So that's it. Okay. So if you have additional questions, stay with me. Otherwise, we will continue. So let me share my screen now that I have here. I don't have everyone here, I guess pre-spring break or something. You can see my screen. You can see yourself, which is great. And let's go to, this is section J. This is section J. Before I even go to what's due, let's go to syllabus. Isa was asking me this. Go to your syllabus and make sure you see your syllabus. You see here your syllabus, tentative, subject to change. And you hear attendance, grade band, peer review. We'll talk about peer review too. Okay, this, first of all, pay attention to this. You may have not known about it. The exam 1 is person, it's 20%. Really, you can think about it, 10% for each part. Part 1 and part 2, I'm giving the same percentage. We have a second exam, which will be the same. What's nice about the second exam versus the first exam is you already know what the format is, right? Mark, you already know what the format is, so that reduces a lot of the anxiety. And it will do that. But look, your final project that we're going to be talking about today counts more than an exam. It's 25% of the exam. And all your assignments that you were doing, that some of you decided that you were too busy to do, count also another 25%. So just the final project and all the assignments that we have given you is 50% of your grade, which I'd like, because these are things that you can take with you, like the notebook LM, the Zoom recordings, as such. Participating in the class, the quizzes that we take in attendance, all together count 10%. So some of you that have missed quizzes, isn't such a big deal, but some of you that have done all this, and if you're in between grades, can help if you get that all done. Okay? Just wanted to go over that. And the second thing you can see here, the first exam was exam 1, in-person 204 computer lab. And the second exam that you talk about, see, Isa, is April 21st, is exam 2, which is in person. So put in your calendars, let everybody know who are your travel agents or are in charge of all your event traveling, that on April 21st, you have to be in Coral Gables at the university in the School of Business at your class time. And it's the same routine, Mark. You got to bring a laptop just in case, right? You see, right, with respondents, all the same thing. It'll be the same thing, multiple choice. And open-ended. The last day of class is April 28th, and that's when you're going to be online with your group presenting your group project. So we really don't have that much. And April next week is no class. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before we have an exam. That takes up. And after that, that Wednesday, I'll look at your projects. And then that 16th, you will make a final project. Isa, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so April 21st, I don't care. You can be, that's the beauty about this class. You can be in Honolulu for all I care, right? Any other time. So the thing is, you just have to be whatever time zone you are, you have to be in at our time zone. Okay, so we got that part done. The other part, let's look at what's due. Always what's due. And I thank Daniel for putting this up. In my what's due section is due Wednesday, March 19th. So instead of Monday after spring break, who wants that? Wednesday, what I want to do is we need to work quickly. We need to do the Tech Guide 3. Some of you may want to do this before even you go away for spring break. It's cloud computing. We've talked about cloud computing before, even recording to the cloud, but we'll go much more in depth. Adaptive assignments, everybody knows where the adaptive assignments is. I don't have to go through that. Is available. And quizzes, you know that this is available, I imagine. Let me just check quizzes for a second. Quizzes, cloud computing is right there. Isn't that great? Cloud computing is there. You can begin, and that's great. So we got that. Thank you, Daniel, for getting that done. So we have this. So if I go to what's due, let me do adaptive just to make sure. And adaptive is right there too. So adaptive tech guide, just so I know. And then the tech guide, cloud adaptive, just to make sure that it's done. And we know that. So we have that available. And we see, of course, right? And then what else do we have? Yeah, the assignment. And then if I go to what's due, I look at the what's due Wednesday, March 19th before class. Now here I have here complete final project, team formation. So I need to go to the audit section. And in my audit section, you see right here, I have final team formation, final project part 1. So what I want and what I like so much is this project, think about it, is not a BTE whatever project, but rather a final project that you can use outside of this class. And this assignment, each group will be a Gen AI consulting company. You will give services to companies about Gen AI. You can decide that you want to be a special sector, like for real estate, or you want to be for small businesses or for general businesses, and you want to be able to give your services. And in giving your services, you want to show off what services you provide. And by what services you provide, I want you to showcase samples of the services you provide. So you will then showcase and pick tools that can be improve efficiency of companies, get closer to their customers, and you'll be a team where you'll choose a topic and you'll select a number of AI tools that you'll be offering free consulting services. In the beginning, you can choose, and then later on, guess what? New tools come about every week So you may then add on additional tools. And then the goal for this project is that you get a deep understanding of the state of Gen AI across various industries. And you can think about it as being a consulting business. And I think realistically, you can do it. Haley, basically think about it. Did you know about podcasting before this class? How to do one?
Not the AI podcast.
Not the AI part, right? So you basically can do that. Think about even on the Zoom of streaming live. Think about the Zoom of doing remote control. Think about Zoom creating polls. All of this you could offer as services. What, by the way, what is your major, Haley? Remind me again.
Finance and marketing.
And marketing, right? I mean, marketing is the king or the queen, right, of AI. How much they're the ones that really use it, to do all my social media, to do all my posts, to do all my campaigns. All marketing is anyways is what? Hallucinations. So that really works well, Physicians are a little bit doubtful because it starts giving you, if you ever look up anything of any of your symptoms, they'll always start off with, go see a doctor. Don't take my advice per se. But with marketing, what is marketing? Is hallucinating to people, and trying to sell them something, right? So what I'm telling you is start off with your group. If there's major problems with your group, go ahead. You can stay afterwards or contact us or contact Daniel. This section is so lucky to have Daniel for any problems with the group, but it's just easier to stay with the group. And first thing to do is create a folder in Blackboard called Final Project. And within the final project, you'll have a proposal. So the key here is for next Wednesday, and I really like to even, you guys, if you can, do it for Monday, is come up with a topic for what you want to do for consulting. You can use whatever. You can use wealth management. You can use a general business. You can use what we said, Haley. You can think about marketing. You can even think about marketing for financial institutions if you want, in specializing in that. You decide. This is your group. This is what you can do, what you want to promote, and think about it is something that you really want to promote. Real estate, job seeking, maybe even for students, services for students, getting jobs, maybe internships, maybe in a way to meet the employers, do a meeting where you invite Haley and Zoom, you can invite a number of experts to come in giving advice. I think what's great with AI is mental health, stress reduction. You can even make basically a business for college students, because college students, maybe women in college, maybe for freshmen, maybe for anything that you can do for mental health, being peers, having your actual people to help out, and also AI bots. There's a lot of AI bots that do mental health. Pi, a number of people that have been quite successful, a lot of meditation apps, right? Maybe you want tutoring. Start off with that Google Notebook, and there's others that can help study for quizzes, study for tests, chatbots, creation for companies. We'll be doing some chatbots in here anyways that everybody's going to be required to do. We're having a company from Britain come for FastBot. I'm going to show you, as I talked about before, the voice API.ai, where you'll have a phone number, just like I said, 1-800-CHAT-GPT. You'll have it for your business and upload documents there. Think about at least 3 or 4 tools that you'll research. Of course, look at some that have free trials, because you don't want to be paying for that now. So set up a folder and you'll need to have your folders approved by me. So I guess the easiest way for me to do it is let me go. Let's do this. This is what the proposal should look like. The service or consulting company, the idea name, the mission, the choice of tools, the business type. I want you to do 2 proposals. Could be in 2 different areas, what you have. And then it needs by Wednesday, once you submit it, and it should be submitted before class is approved by me. I am in everybody's group giving the mentor, and every proposal has to be approved. You need to like it, and I also need to think that it's useful to do. So let me just do one more. So if I go to the audit, and let's do this, go to the audit area with me. So I'm going to go to courses. J, you understand why I called it audit. Go to assignment groups. Everybody do that. And you'll see here in group 0, there's the 3 of us. And you should make, everybody can do that even now. Make on your group folder, make another folder called final project. And this is where from now on to the end of time, at the end of the semester, you will be putting all your work there. So under final project, you should have another folder, right? A subfolder, say proposals. And now, Hanley, it's like easy, right? Before it was confusing. Now it's so simple, right? Another folder called proposals. And under the proposals, you should have proposal 1, which is service and consulting, and the choice of AI approved. And then this one. And I approved this one. Now, let me just stop sharing. What I also have done is I've developed relationships with a number of companies. As you know, I consult from startups to Fortune 500 in the areas of technology, and especially now in the area of AI. And I have a relationship with Wix, the development company that does websites, and I have what I established with them, an academic partnership. And what the academic partnership entails is that I give them some advice and I speak at some of their conferences, and in return, they help out my students. And what do I ask them to do? Is during our semester that they allow us to upgrade to their paid version, their paid business version. Wix is, anyone used Wix before? But Wix is basically you can do an easy to do website, and their websites, when I ask them to upgrade, we get free full domain names. So it looks professional rather than saying Wix.realty AI, it will be realtyconsultants.ai. We give you a code, and you can use that code to get a free domain name. What I like about that is your website will be the beginnings of having published on it a podcast about your company. You'll have a chat bot that will be used for text about your company. You will create together phone numbers that'll say like USA Realty.ai that will, when people call, they'll get information about your company. You'll have social media. You'll set up social media accounts, which you will populate and try to get viral. We'll talk about Google Analytics, where we'll try to get you on Google's search engine and deal with optimization, get you higher in the rankings. And what's nice is this project, you can then go out before you're even finished to possible prospects and ask them what they think of telling them that you're doing this project, and what do you think about you creating a phone number for them, like 1-800-CHAT-GPT, but it will talk about their company. Or what do you think about for real estate to do like an open house where you'll live stream when somebody's physically there, you'll live stream their open house to others around the world. We will be working on it every week. We'll have assignments. We'll take it step by step, the project. And at the last week of class, which is on the 28th ESA, you'll be doing a presentation to me on Zoom with your group, showing me your final project. Most likely it should be done, maybe it should be done 99%. But that 1%, what I'd like to see is I'd like to give you a chance to get my final feedback so you can polish it that it will be 100%. I'll do a shortened version that I'll be seeing your projects throughout the semester. So even in that final project during class, when you're presenting, I may have you rush through some things. I want to concentrate on what needs improvement, not what is the entire formal presentation. But after you get my feedback, then after that last class, we will not, everybody here, Heidi, we will not have a final exam. Instead, the day of the final exam is when your project will be finalized and uploaded. How will you submit it? Of course, Heidi, you know already. You'll be uploading it to your final project. Before you upload, one of the things you'll do is you'll do a formal presentation. How will you do it, Heidi? Of course, how? In Zoom, right? No password, cloud recording. All of this is like, it's like a review for us. It's a no-brainer now. You will be formally thinking about it as presenting to a group of investors. For me, when you're presenting to me like I'm part of your group. You're presenting it to in staff. You know what I mean? You're presenting, I'm the inside person that you're going to show me all the flaws and everything like that, and we'll try to dress it up. For them, for your presentation, you'll have everyone take their part in doing the presentation. You'll present it just like they do like the deck, you know, when they're presenting, I do a lot of judging of startups of should we invest or not. I basically work with a number of investment firms where I'm giving them my opinion. And if you know me already, Heidi, I'm not short in giving my opinion, right? I'm quite opinionated on what I think. So that's how it is. Your project should not say in your PowerPoint slides BTE210. Who cares about that? You want to be as professional as possible. You want to present your team. On your website, you'll have your team. And Heidi, for instance, I forgot, what is your major?
I'm finance and accounting.
Finance and accounting. So that's great to add with the team, but in the team description, it'll be Heidi, right, Lynn, and then it will also be CFO of the company, right, that you're there giving a description of what you do for the company. And at the end, it's great that you have academic credentials too, that you're accounting and finance major. But it's not, I'm born in New Jersey and I'm an accounting major and my sorority is blah, 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 right? But it's rather, if you're in the company, that's what we want to see. What are you going to do for the company? And hey, Heidi's also well educated, that she's accounting finance. It makes sense that she's the CFO or whatever you are in the company, that you know the finances of it. And then you can share. What can you be able to share? You'll be able to share with others after you finish this project, is you'll be able to share your URL for your website. You'll be able to share your recording of your presentation. You'll be able to share what? Your podcast of what you're doing, right? You know how to share that. And you'll be able to share your chat bot and your phone number. And you put that all on the website plus others. Later on, you can put it in other types of things. Call us at. So in the social media pages, Heidi, you can even put your phone number. What's your phone number? Of the AI bot. You don't want to put your own phone number. You don't want to just get scammed. Right? So we'll be able to do it. Got the idea? I think this is the most valuable part of my contribution to you. Why? Because you can take this along with you, right? No offense, but in this case, there's really not a need. Nobody wants to see your multiple choice questions. Even if you did, Heidi, well on your multiple choice or your open-ended, what they want to see is what can you do for me? And you can do a lot. Okay, so those are the issues that we have. And then what I also want to emphasize, and then maybe I think this is important, Daniel, is part of the course syllabus. We talk about in your presentation, for me, you'll have another slide, your last slide, that will list all your team members and what they did on the project, what they accomplished, not what they were supposed to do. Because a lot of times you have a side that this person was supposed to do all the social media, this person was supposed to do the chatbot, but what they accomplished. On the last slide. You do not need to incorporate that when you're doing your recordings, right? Because you don't want to show investors, Joe did this and that. But for me, you want to include on that PowerPoint, you want to include what they did. Plus, you have a peer review at the end of the semester in detail. And Daniel, remind me, we need to update that peer review to more specifics and more documentation on it. Don't you agree? So what we need to do is, what did you do for the project? How well you did for the project? And what were the strengths of your project? What were the weaknesses of your project still? And what were the strengths and weaknesses of your group? In the past, you're in a difficult situation with that. I'm paid to evaluate you. When you're with each other in a group, you're not paid to evaluate each other, you know. But what you need to do, is part of why I call it the audit section, is what I'm trying to do is working in groups, leading groups, working things out, finding acceptable time slots. Maybe you need to break it down into smaller subsets somehow to get the work done. I will insist this time, I will not accept everything that everybody says. Our project was 100%. Everybody was just excellent. Everybody was 100% and there was no issues whatsoever. That ain't life. So I'm going to require you to accurately evaluate yourself plus others in your group. If I see all 100%, your group will get points taken off, because I know that that is not realistic. Unless I see, my goodness, that's 100% project, and I've never seen that before. You will have to do that. And you have to know, if you are going to be a slacker in this class and continue to be a slacker in this class and not contribute the most, you will get grades lower than your other group members. Just because your group has done well You will not, and you will see that in writing on my course syllabus, and I will abide by that course syllabus. The reason I'm saying this is we've had very few issues in the past about it, but we have had issues, and they were wondering, but my group did well. I wasn't at the recording, but my group did the recording. They said it was okay. That is not okay. Okay? Other than that, I think this is the tremendous part of your project, because you really can take that. And I've had in the past, students basically was the beginning, and they basically can now even do it part-time and say, hey, I can help companies. I know a lot more than other companies are doing. And finding the right fit. Do you see that, Alexa? Of finding what companies can actually use it, and even for yourself in promoting yourself. Any questions, comments? So what do you think, Emerson, about the project?
I'm excited.
What are you excited about?
Just the whole process of like learning and getting it done.
Yeah, isn't it? And that you can use it, Emerson. Isn't that's the greatest part? And then you have that we have guidance, and we'll have experts from around the world, literally from around the world. Can you imagine? A guy from England, it's the middle of the night, is coming, to give a presentation. And maybe some of the guys will come early. Do you have a class before this, Emerson?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we recorded it. So some of these speakers that can't come specifically for this section, the beauty is what? We'll record them and we'll make it available that others to be able to do. So those are the issues here. And then maybe at the end, I'll invite some of my investor friends, and they can even come for, a couple of the sessions to give feedback. But that's the key. I love it because you can take it away. You know what I mean? You can give it out. And then you have all these skills that you're learning. And just think about it, even with the Notebook LM, you can put that in. And now it's like second nature. You can now even create in your website saying, hey, we're going to do Zoom webinars. And you can basically invite anyone in the world. You can find experts around the world to come in. And you say, hey, I've had it before where they say, come in and tell us what you're looking for a job. You can meet our best students. We can be even a referral. We can even recruit for you students to give us, a task to do. You can think about it. You're almost in the driver's seat. Where can you ever do it? A regular job, they say, hey, you're getting a little cocky for me, Emerson. What do you think? But you really can. Ask all those other people. Can they create a chatbot? Can they create a phone 1-800, realty.ai? No way. So we'll do it. Okay. So I'm glad you're excited. Daniel, you want to maybe open up the test one, the 2 parts, so students can see
yes.
students can see their grades.
Sure thing.
It's going to be curved a bit, but you can know that it's like the second part, the first part was based on 60, and the second part was based on 20. So that's so if you got 20 on the second part, that's like 100%, and that's 50% of that grade. So you can look at it. So what do you, and we're going to curve it for all the classes. I think this section did the best in terms of the highest grades, maybe not on the lowest part, but we'll have a curve, and the final curve will be later on it. So there'll definitely be, what do you think will be an A, more or less, Daniel, for the 60 will be?
As far as the multiple choice, if you got the upper 40s
Then what?
would be an A,
Upper
provided you
40s
got
would, about an upper 40s would be an A.
provided
And the
you
lower
got a
end of
20
the
out of
B is
20.
what?
I mean, I would have to do all the math for all
Yeah,
this,
but
but
about
because it
that, you
depends
can-
what you got on both, really.
Yeah, but it depends on what you got in both, because for most of you, those that didn't do well on the first part, the second part helped you out, you know. So it's kind of combined together. But you can think about it. So you can see there. Okay? Anything else? Any other comments on what we have to do? So I would get today, if you can, at least get, what needs to be done in terms of the folder and the proposals. That by Monday, it would be nice if you had something that I could respond to. Otherwise, I need to sign off by Wednesday so that, you know how we delayed this is going to be delayed this. There ain't no more delaying because we really want to there's so much that we want to accomplish, right, Emerson? That the first thing we got to do is approve it. I don't want to spend, if we spend 3 weeks approving it, there's no time to do the work. So that's the only thing is think about, do even 3 proposals if you want, in terms of, hey, these are ideas we want to do. And it's something that you want to do. It's not what I want to do, right? But I'm in there to tell you, hey, this is not reasonable. Sometimes people were going to do finance and they were going to do, forecasting and portfolio optimization. And I said, do you know anything about portfolio optimization? They said, we have no clue what that is. So I said, so don't do it, but maybe what you can do you maybe can help in terms of in the banking to help them get closer to their customers or something like that. Put a podcast together, put bots together, and some other thing. I need a spring break too. Okay. Anything else? So stay with me if you have questions. Daniel will stay with me a few minutes before his next class. If you have questions, I'm just excited. I want to do that. If you have time, VAPI, VAP, voice API.ai to get phone numbers. I'll do that with you next week. We'll show how to do some phone numbers. We'll look at phone numbers together, maybe get a vanity phone number that spells something like 1-800 ChatGPT. That's it. So, Daniel, you mind doing the
Yes, I can.
yeah, and Tyler, right? We talked about meeting me afterwards, and anyone else that needs to meet me. Okay? So, let's do this. Get me, I just need the attendance score. Do you want to do that or you want me to get it?
I got
Daniel,
it.
you got it?
Dr. Rush,
Yes.
is
Isa.
the grade on Blackboard with the curve already?
No, the
No,
curve is not done yet.
curve is
Oh,
not
okay,
done.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
curve not done. So it will be a curve, but we haven't finished all sections. So the curve is not done. But
So far, the average is an 81% on both
okay, so
the H
really
and the
for
J.
both of them or for
H and J, yeah. Then that's no curve.
no curve? Okay, so it's not bad.
It's really not bad. It's a lot better
Not bad.
than
So it won't be that much of a curve. Okay.
no, it won't be
Fine.
that bad.
Right.
Of course, that's excluding zeros.
Right. I hope so.
Of course.
I hope so. Those people that didn't decide they shouldn't be right. Right. I hope it's not. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel's my Dr. Analytics. I can call you, right? So I can call you. I've promoted you, Daniel.
Zoom
My
promoted me,
DA.
right?
I'll call you my DA. My LTA and my DA. My loves analytics. Okay. So we got everything. Did you put in the key for the attendance?
Yes. It's 2497.
2497. Okay, in the chat. It's in the chat. Let me just see here. The chat you
I always put it a bunch so people see it.
right, in case. Okay, check in the chat.
Dr. Rush, sorry, one more question.
Sure.
For your grade, you just add it's out of 80
The
80 points?
first one is out of 60.
Yeah. So
And the second one is out of,
I could explain it. So
yeah,
it's,
so, go
it's-
ahead.
the one out of 60 counts for 50%, and the one out of 20 counts for 50%. So do your score divided by 60 plus your score divided by 20, and then divide by 2.
so wait, is this the same thing? Because I did my score for both sections over 80. Because
No,
it's no? Okay, can you explain that again? How do I calculate my grade?
okay. So there's gonna
My
you're gonna get 2 percentages. You're gonna do your score divided by 60, that's 1 percentage, and then your score divided by 20, that's another percentage. Add those two together and divide by 2. That's your
Oh,
raw
okay,
score.
so let me try this.
I
You know,
could
we
tell
can
you
do
what it is if you'd
percentages
like.
too. We could have presented by percentages.
It's okay.
Yeah, we
Do it.
can. If you want, I
And
could
then
also
if you have
post.
like 0.5 of a score, does it round up or does it stay at 0.5?
It stays at the number that it is, and then we add the curve if there is. There will be.
Okay. So if I got an 86.666 on one of them, then it goes
Do you
86.666.
just want to know your score?
Yeah, can you just tell me honestly? Like it's fine.
We don't need to do this. Let's do this offline. We don't need to record it. Let me just let me
Yeah.
just stop recording. No one, you remember Isa?
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, everybody can know my grade.
You understand? I
Yes.
don't mind.